Okay, at this point, I'm going to ask our justice panel to give an overview of their roles and responsibilities of their jobs and their respective professions and how they interact with individuals who have mental illness. Chief Duffy, if you wouldn't mind starting us off. Thank you. Thanks. You can sit there. You're there. That's fine. Yeah.
I am standing.
Okay.
At any rate, as he told you, I'm the chief of police of Scranton, and my role in the department is oversight of the department. My responsibilities in the agency are huge. They're huge. I have 134 officers who respond to 60,000 calls per year, and many of those calls, of course, are going to be with persons with mental illness, possibly, or somebody who may be under the influence of alcohol, or both, or somebody who may be under the influence of drugs. So there's so much uncertainty that our officers encounter out there, and that's why I say my responsibility is huge, because my responsibility is anticipation. I have to anticipate what may happen, and I have to go back to the drawing board to make things better so tragedy doesn't happen. And typically tragedy starts off good things at times. There's a blessing in disguise behind some tragedies. And one of the things that I do is I try to anticipate, where is our department weak? Where are we having potential? Where could there be liability issues? Where could there be safety issues for the officers? Where could there be safety issues for the public? So my responsibility is huge, and it's a constant process. I don't sit around and just wait for things to happen and then say, oh, we need to fix that. What we try to do is, through education, through training, through networking, through forming a relationship with all the criminal justice entities, that's what we do. We get together and we try to think, what could happen, what is happening, how can we make things better? So, as far as my role goes, my role is the police chief, obviously, and it sounds like a great job, and sometimes I get to wear a nice uniform, but in reality, it's a very difficult position because of that anticipation. The officers that I have under me are required to make split-second decisions. They're required to make split-second decisions that will be scrutinized by everybody later on, and their safety at times is put in jeopardy, and that's a real huge responsibility for those officers, and it's a big responsibility for me and the commanders in our department to make sure that we're doing what is right. So, without anything further here, I just want to say I'm happy to be invited to come up here and speak. I am certainly not an expert in this field, but as far as navigating the department, it is an absolute concern to me that our agency should be, like the CIT program that's going on, which we're going to discuss. My goal is eventually to have every uniformed officer to be trained through CIT if we could, because it's so important. Through understanding is going to be how we're going to make our lives a lot easier and make the lives of other people a lot more, a lot easier to deal with. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ray Hayes. As Chief Duffy said, I'm the former Director of Public Safety within the City of Scranton. I'm currently a faculty member at Keystone College. And we were asked to talk about our roles. I'm thinking, well, my role has changed considerably. I initially became involved in this after a tragic shooting that occurred in the City of Scranton of a person who has experienced a mental health event. And as a result of that, we formed a task force, and a number of our task force members are here in the room and have become very close, not only partners, but friends of mine. We put a report together. There were a number of recommendations that were made over almost a year of meetings, and we came up with some recommendations that we recognized that something must be done to provide additional training for law enforcement in terms of responding to calls that involve mental health issues. We decided that what we should do is adopt what is called a crisis intervention team model, the Memphis model, which obviously started in Memphis. See how that works in there? Well, it's quite a coincidence. But anyhow, we engaged in training, and when we came back, we put a training curriculum together, a group of us. There's actually 10 members involved in our board right now. It says on there that I'm the president, and although I will take that home and put that on my desk because I like the way it's worded, I'm really not a board member. We have a 10-member board, so our role now is really providing oversight for the crisis intervention team program it started in the City of Scranton, Now it's expanded throughout the county. And we meet on a monthly basis, and we evaluate how the program is progressing, and we look for ideas and insights from our very diverse board, a number of them who are here before us today. We try and make a good thing even better. We've come up with a very innovative pilot program that we're working on, and in conjunction with the faculty at Keystone College, we're gathering data to see if we can come up with an evidence-based concept to see if our program is in fact working. And what we're doing now is when the law enforcement goes to a residence where a person's experiencing a mental health event and they are not taken into custody under a 302 commitment, we're doing a program in conjunction with Alex Azzurri and the Advocacy Alliance where we make a referral to a peer specialist, to Carl Mosier, our peer specialist. He then can intervene early on and provide services to that potential consumer. And therefore, we don't have to sit back and wait until that person decompensates to the point where there is involuntary intervention. So that's what we're doing right now. We continue to meet as a board with a number of our mental health partners. As I said, the Advocacy Alliance has been a tremendous supporter of ours. Alex Azzurri has supported our program. It is as a result of his intervention that we're able to use the services of Carl Mosier. When we had our original task force, it was Alex Azzurri who provided us a professional facilitator to keep us on point and make sure that no one was involved in their own personal agenda. And what we are also doing now is a number of other issues. We're meeting with, we're trying to see how we can make the program better. And in terms of, it may be a new program in this area, but last summer, a number of us that are in this room also went to the International Convention in Virginia Beach. And we met, there was over probably 2,000 individuals from all over the world that are involved in this type of a program. So that's where we are now, and again, I have to say that it's overwhelming to see so many of our partners here in the room today. We've all been on the same mission, many times on different highways, as I've said in the past, and it's really an honor and a pleasure to stand before so many of us that are involved in helping those with mental illness. Thank you.
My name is Kathy Tully. I'm an assistant public defender here in Lackawanna County. Our office represents people who are charged with crimes. And what we find is a lot of times, one of the reasons they may have been involved with the criminal justice system is they have a mental health issue that wasn't being fully addressed at the time that they're charged with committing a crime. I think our biggest role and responsibility to these individuals is to ask questions, to screen, to talk to them about their mental health issues, what they were doing and maybe what they should have been doing that they weren't at the time that they're in trouble for. Another thing we end up doing a lot is talking to families. Now, because of attorney-client privilege, sometimes we can't reciprocate the conversation, but we can certainly listen to family members. We often have clients whose family members come to court wanting to speak with us to leave us know what was going on with their loved one. So I think our biggest asset we have is we have the ability at that point then to direct our clients into proper programming, into proper resources so that hopefully they're fully addressing their issue. What we find on our side of the law is that if we have a person who for whatever reason was not fully addressing their underlying problems, and while they're involved with the system, if they are taking all possible avenues to address those issues, our judges will consider that at the time of sentencing. We also find a lot of times the prosecutor on the case will consider that during plea negotiations if that's the avenue our client wants to go in. So I think our biggest role and responsibility that everyone here needs to be aware of is we're going to ask a lot of questions. Nothing is meant to embarrass or to be confrontational with our clients, and we're going to give them the best advice we can, which is, get back into counseling. Why don't you call Advocacy Alliance? Maybe they can help you out with something. If you previously had counselors or therapists or support groups, maybe you need to re-interact with them to get you the resources and to get you where you need to be. That's about what we do. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Giannotti, as you've already heard, and I work with the District Attorney's Office here in Lackawanna County. I've been with the office since February 1st of 2010. My current assignment includes working with the Drug Treatment Court Program. Although I'm not assigned to the Mental Health Treatment Court Program, I did work with the York County District Attorney's Office for 3 years prior to working with this District Attorney's Office. And in my capacity as an Assistant District Attorney in York County, I was assigned to the Mental Health Treatment Court Program down there for approximately 2 of those 3 years. Although I don't sit in this treatment court, it's pretty much the same issues but different structure, and I think the same goal. With regard to the roles and responsibilities with the district attorney in this process, we're essentially, lack of a better phrase, gatekeepers. We're a link in the chain, and we're the part of the process where an arrest has been made, discussions have been had with our office, with the police officers, discussing the factual basis for the arrest, and to the extent that assistant public defenders or private attorneys will disclose to us or can disclose to us the issues surrounding the arrest, determining whether or not that person is an eligible candidate. That information is then processed with our office, and then at that point in time, a decision is made, not by myself, by the district attorney himself, determining whether or not that person is eligible as a person with the treatment court. Along those lines, we're obviously not therapists or social services or healthcare professionals, so we rely on the services of others in reaching that decision, and then at that point in time, that person may or may not enter the treatment court. Once that decision is made, we really don't have any control over graduation or treatment processes, although we are members of the team and obviously interested in the outcome of the case. The reason why an individual has to pass through our office before they enter the treatment court program is because the disposition of the case can ultimately be altered, whether that be an expungement, some sort of probation, or something along those lines. In other words, we opt out of following through with a full prosecution of that individual. So that is basically our role and responsibilities in that. And any questions that you may have, I will do what I can to generally speak about the roles of our office in the treatment court program and possibly tap into my prior experience with my other office. So I thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kenny Kive. I'm employed by Lackawanna County Adult Probation Department. My current assignment is I'm a drug court officer. 3.5 years prior, I worked in general supervision, dealing with crimes from every aspect from A to Z. Sorry, I'm stuttering. Last time I was this nervous was in front of Ray Hayes when he was correcting my college senior seminar. But my roles and responsibilities are to make sure all of our clients are following the rules that are imposed by the courts. The treatment court team does is if there's any problems, if people are missing appointments, we try to address it without ultimately having to incarcerate them. At certain times, they have to be incarcerated for certain things if they're not following through with the rules and conditions, but we try to make that a last resort. Basically, it's a lot easier with a lot more eyes on your people than it is in general supervision. That was one of the biggest things, is if our caseloads were lower, the recidivism rate might be a little lower as well. But we have a great group of people that we work with, and hopefully could remain to keep people on the streets. Thank you.